I was approached not too long ago by the true founders of this initiative, the person of Richard Oforiatta, who also told me of his partner, Godwin Atiga, that they wanted to do this initiative of Ghana Jobs Bank initiative. I wanted to know what the whole thing would be about before I would lend my name to it. I know there's so much unemployment in the country. Almost 40% of our youth are not employed. And we've got Unemployed Graduates Association. Something not to really be proud about. But truly, the youth are the future of any nation. And you get a situation like we are in now, where there are so many of them unemployed. Then, if you are truly concerned as a citizen, let alone as a human being, then you know that the future may not be too bright unless there's a solution to the unemployment situation. So when I was approached by Oforiatta and the other partner, Aka, I heard him described as in Zimbabwe, a very enterprising youngster, I sat up. First, they wanted me to chair the board. I said no, I couldn't do it. Because where I am now, I'm very much retired. I would rather play the role of the retired uncle who would sit at home for the virile, enterprising nephews and youngsters and nieces to come and consult from time to time. I would impart whatever experience I have, give an opinion here and there, and hopefully the youth would go away and try to implement or glean some wisdom from the old man's viewpoints. So they agreed to rather make me patron than to take me as chair of the board. And I want to thank them. Considering the gathering I see here in my home, so many handsome and beautiful young persons, very intelligent, strong faces I see. I see that this thing is off to a really good start. I also see that the founders have taken pains to internationalize the initiative. We've heard of partners coming from the Middle East, some from India. We are glorified with the presence of the Turkish ambassador here, and Turkey is making waves when you talk of industrialization and job creation. All of them are here, and then we've got Gordon, who is already an international star, an inventor, and he's very much youth. I don't think he's older than 35. In spite of the large beard he's growing. What I want to say at this point is that you must believe in yourselves, the youth of Ghana, that you can do it. Unfortunately, it seems like we've been weaned as a society on everybody looking up to government. If we want to go that way, I'm afraid it will take umpteen years before we get there. Government is there, right? Government is to govern. Government is not to do business. This is why when I got the opportunity to lead the government of Ghana, I decided we form a ministry for private sector development. We wanted our society to appreciate that the public sector can only be the infrastructure for the private sector. Prepare the ground, set the framework, so the citizenry, the individuals, will take up the challenge of doing things for themselves. We all want to look around the world and talk of the developed world. When you go to most of those places, you'll see that it wasn't the government that started the wealth creation and job creation. The United States, Go there. You see the heavyweights that really launched growth. Some of them came to be described as robber barons. It wasn't R-U-B-B. It was R-O-B. Robber, thieves, robber barons. They laid the rail lines, built the skyscrapers, created the jobs. And that's what really came to define the United States of America. Europe, you can look around and you see names. Go to the Far East, South Korea, with which Ghana wants to compare itself. Say we all got independence about the same time. But Korea is now way ahead of us. It wasn't the government as such. The government played a hand, but the government used the private sector to do it. I'm sure you've heard of the chaebol. Chaebol wasn't a good description. It was like a cabal, people who use their entrepreneurial initiatives to cheat. But the government saw that there was potential for development there. So the government eventually cleansed chaebol and then set the champions of industry on. So you now hear of big names, Samsung and so forth and so on. Times where when they were really looked on with some disdain. We are now resolved to move ahead as a community, as a nation, Ghana. And I'm telling you, I believe the government is creating the enabling atmosphere. What the youth of Ghana should do is to seize the opportunity and ride on the atmosphere. And I tell you, within a decade or two, you'll see the difference. We needn't go too far to the developed world to see where some youth have really shown leadership and broken through the mold. Look at Nigeria. Now we hear of Dangote and so forth and so on. Dangote started when, in a way, he was like most of you here, perhaps even younger, in his 20s and 30s. I don't think he's much older than 60. Now he's listed among the 20 richest people in the world, creating many, many jobs for people, not only in Nigeria. He's in Ghana here, he's in Senegal, he's everywhere. I believe there are some Dangotes amongst you. And even coming home to Ghana, I've got a list of names, and the list is not exhaustive. Every day you turn on the Peace FM, you hear of Dr. Osei Kwame Despite and his brother Ofori Boateng. It's Ofori Sapon. See the industries they are creating, the employment. Special ice or whatever they call it. Neat fufu. This way chocolate. With all due respect, I don't think it's their book knowledge so much as their smartness. I see that we are talking a lot about graduates. I tell you, entrepreneurship issue. It's a talent. You needn't go to university before you become an entrepreneur. They are doing it. Then look at Sekens. Sekens started when he was like you, 20s, 30s. If you care to drive around the Ridge area, you would see Lisa Hotel. Is it? Lisa Hotel. Lisa Hotel. And other achievements of that man. You would also see Albert Osei's Coco. That's fast foods. Coco King. Now we have got KFC all over the place. We can do it, yeah, and there's a Ghanaian doing it. If you want to go into the finance sector, you will see Fidelity Bank. Mr. Ifa Edward started like you in his 20s, and now see what he's doing in the finance sector. Similarly, Zoom Lion. Let's talk about Zoom Lion. See, the one thing qualifying all these people is that they have got a sense of the market. If you are talking of wealth creation, you must first and foremost, see the market, what the people would buy, what they need, and try to meet their demands there. Then you are generating wealth. Zoom Lion started looking around and seeing that there was so much filth around us. Earlier times, we depended on the local government assemblies. Unfortunately, the conservancy workers would come around and just work superficially, but they were not regular. So this man comes around, he organizes, employs a lot of people, and now Zoom Lion is a household name. Saying this is not saying we are blind to some of the drawbacks. No, the law should be there to deal with people who really go astray. We are a nation or a government now of rule of law, so the law should handle. But we are talking of creativity, of industry, of wealth, of employment. And I'm saying you are all potentially capable of doing something. If you are not entrepreneurial, like a risk taker, say that it takes one man to kill the elephant, but a whole community to eat it. But to eat it, you must be efficient. The way you go in there with your knife to cut your piece to eat. So you needn't be the risk taker. You must be a good worker. You are not the creator, at least you must work well. Contribute towards creation of wealth and employment. There are still more names. Mrs. Nokodua, that woman, of course, I'm not too surprised. It's like genetic, because her father, the late Omabo, did so much. And she's got the genes of the father, and she's another creator. Like Mrs. Opombeko, Manette Estates, real estates. They are all doing it. And I'm saying I'm challenging the youth of Ghana. Those who have been privileged to go through the tertiary system of education, as well as those who haven't had the opportunity, but who are smart. And I'm happy Godwin, in outlining the purposes of the initiative, said there were two-tier programs: Smart Youth, as well as the incubator for youth, entrepreneurial youth. The incubator would prepare those with the talent to be entrepreneurial. But the Smart Youth is the guy that would deploy the given talents of being efficient. You are employed as a factor of production. Go in there to be productive, so that the employer is making the legitimate profit, and from there you also get your legitimate wage. You might remember that when we were in government, I had occasion to remark that in our country, it seemed government pretended to pay, and so the workers also pretended to work. With that combination, we weren't making progress. We need to eschew that tendency. Go in, work efficiently, be productive. The returns will come, and you should be given your just pay. With that basis, I think we would all be happy. And it's on this basis that when I was approached by Richard and Aka, I said, look, young men, I believe you are in the right direction. Let me just be a patron. Let me be your retired uncle, staying at home, but occasionally throwing up some idea or experience to help you make your way around the world. And you make progress, create the wealth. Because I've said it and I want to repeat. I do not know anywhere on earth where people have used poverty to overcome poverty. You overcome poverty by wealth creation. But to create the wealth, you need to be smart, you need to be entrepreneurial, you need the investments. And I believe this is what this whole thing is about. So I accept to be patron. but the terms I've given you, retired uncle staying at home, when you come to consult, I think with you, and then perhaps we make a way forward, and through that, help our youth to pick up, so that we, the retiring ones, would have that comfort, we would have that assurance and confidence that we are leaving a legacy that would sustain the development and generation of wealth, the happiness of the generality of our people, inclusively. So there would be real future here. Our youth would not have to walk across the Sahara to die, or to go into dingy boats to be sunk in the Mediterranean, seeking greener pastures elsewhere. So I accept this position with blessings. And I say I'm here backing you fully. May God bless your efforts.